All right. Good morning. Good morning. It is 6:31 and it is March 27th. Take a look at disclosure before we get to today's 6:30 club. Hopefully everyone's feeling well. Good morning, everyone. My name is Scott Redler. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. Here we are at the 6:30 club trying to figure out how to make some money, how to end this quarter strong so everyone can get a paycheck so they can pay their bills and live their life, right? What do we say in 2024? We want to make money and make some memories, and hopefully that's what's starting out here. Before we get going, let me say hello to some of my dogs around the world, see who's up, rising and shining. And I guess I could guess who's up. You got It's Up, you got Bob, you got Bill Myers in the house, Ali Hassan. Everyone's getting going. What up, Lorenzo in the Riviera? Well, Riviera, that's your last name. We got the beer guy. I'm trying not to drink beer on Monday through Wednesdays. What up, Don? How you doing? So I woke up this morning. I'm like, all right, where are we at? I looked. The S&P futures are up 20 handles. I'm like, wow, deja vu. We got two sell programs in a row that took place. At the end of the day, that hurt a little bit. When I spoke to my rebalance guys in the beginning of the week, I'm like, what's the story for the end of the week? They're like, we're hearing 33 billion to sell. The S&P's up 9%, and the bonds have gotten hit. They have to revert to the mean. So be careful being long. The guys are going to try and figure out how to sell some of this before Thursday. So this way, anyone gaming, the sell at the end of the day on Thursday, if they're done, you get a squeeze. So makes for a little bit of a complicated week, but at least if that's out there. You don't get caught with your pants down too long in the last hour if that's what they're going to do. So anyway, what up, Derek? What up, Space? Here we are. You have the SPYs up. Here, let me present a little bit. You have the SPYs up what? 240. So it kind of this back and forth or misdirection is how they distribute stock, and that's how they get rid of $33 billion. So now if you went home short looking for downside follow through because you didn't know it was a sell program, but you thought it was market weakness because everyone out there is still calling for a 5% correction, then maybe they squeeze you in the morning, okay, and then they sell into that, and then all of a sudden they keep getting rid of the 33 billion. I think as of now, with the two sell programs this week and the mornings, they've already done about 10 billion. So we'll see. So, at this point, if you look at the SPYs from last week before I left for my little ski trip to Aspen, we were 524. We wound up hitting 518.40. All of a sudden, all we really did is test the 8-day moving average, which we've been above for a big portion of this trend. If you look at the weekly chart real quickly, just to see check the temperature there. All in all, still in this ascending channel. Okay, I haven't updated this in a little bit. Remember, we took out this 518. That was the last high. We put a high in at 524. Did this right before leaving last week, so I want to update it. All in all, they still say the trend is your friend until it's not, and at this point, it's just continuing. It feels really long in the tooth, which people say, but bottom line is still going. And as long as it continues, you got to stay with it. Okay. Bottom line is, you can't fight trends. And when the trend changes, you got to adjust. You could always get a little less long and then come back once you have market discovery. There's nothing wrong with that. But you don't want to fight a trend with an opinion because you think a certain way. As a trader, you can't really think a certain way. You can have a certain composure and you know what you like to do, but you can't force it upon the market. Otherwise, you're going to get your clock cleaned, and nobody wants that. So bottom line is, on the weekly chart, here's your descending channel, which could have kept going, but it didn't. This candle right here back in October 30th, 2023, pretty much told you, hey, we might clear this, and then boom, that's what's been going on. So anyway, let's go more back to what we're doing and what I'm thinking about for this week. Okay, so again, here you go. I do think that a lot of the selling that we've had since last week is somewhat mechanical because of the rebound. So I'm trying to think about, positioning a little bit into a few things for next week because you'll have new April flows, you'll have new quarterly flows. So once this is over, maybe we get a strong start to April. So I'm going to be probably light in my longs, but I'll have some risk defined in some of my positions that I'm looking to kind of position into with options, which sometimes works. Sometimes you don't need to do that. Just friggin', trade the day. So what I'm looking for next week, obviously best stock in the market right now, is Nvidia. It's been the best stock in the market, ever since we had this big breakout above the channel way back when. You've had a lot of moves, lots of trades, lots of things going on. So right here, okay, this is 967. This is 974. Yesterday, you had a pretty bearish bar. I admit it. You had strength to sell. I came in long Nvidia yesterday, and I actually sold some up 9 points. And then I actually said to the guys on the alpha team, I'm like, feels like we're going red today, so I'm going to try and be cute and get out of my shares. And I did make money long Nvidia yesterday, and I went down 20. I'm like, but I'm going to try and position a little bit into options for next week. Okay, so basically that's what I'm trying to do. This low here yesterday was 925, so let's put that in, and we'll see. I don't think that 974 is going to be the high of Nvidia for 2024. I have a feeling we're going to get to 11 or 1200 at some point. So it could happen intraday and in a way that makes you feel comfortable. It could happen with options. Bottom line is yesterday they sold some strength, and now we'll see, what happens today. At this point, Nvidia is up 9. I will not be buying Nvidia up 9 in the first few minutes, but I did buy some calls and accumulated into the close. So I might sell some to create a little bit of a spread if it were to goose up 14 or 15. So anyway, it'd be nice if this could go sideways a little bit. If this doesn't matter, if it can go within here a little bit and develop a nice little upper flag in this new channel, because this is what this could be. Remember how long the other channel was, and then figure out when is that going to be cleared. So I don't have much FOMO in this today, where all of a sudden if it opens up where it's going to go through 967 today or 974, I think it's going to rebuild again today. So anyway, so that's one thing I'm thinking about and going with. And I'm not, some people are like, hey, Red Dog, I'm going to short this. Look how it closed on the lows. It's going to go red today. I'm like, okay, you could do that for cash flow. AMD is interesting. AMD, I was very active in this year. Okay. And then all of a sudden to put in its, Red Dog reversal sell up here, 214 after it stretched to 228. Wow. So down here, I think somebody knew that China was not going to let their chips go into their government devices or whatever it was. We remember Monday we were down 6, we absorbed it. So I'm thinking about, I bought some calls for next week, the 185s, and I'll also trade it. Yesterday you gave you a nice trade, went from red to green, gave you a push. You could have made some cash flow. Then it came in with the sell program. So I'm thinking at some point, you could actually draw this a little bit different, that this descending trend line changes. And if it doesn't, then you just know the market's that weak. But anyway, I think from 228 down into this spot, if you want to accumulate some calls for next Friday and also trade it when it gives you the clues to trade it, I like both of those. I also think at some point, this friggin' Amazon, which is a pain in the arse, is going to get and stay above this 180 and just might not do it this week. So I'm buying some 182s for next week. So those are the 3 things I'm kind of accumulating some calls for next Friday in the new month, in the new quarter. But I'm also trading, and I'm also, so far what I've been doing is I've been selling premium. Like right now the SPYs are opening up, 240. I sold a lot of 522s and 524s, to suck in premium to make money short with the sell program. With up 2 and change, I'll probably be selling the 523 calls for tomorrow to collect money. And if all of a sudden we open up 2 and go up 4, then I'll be making money in the calls that I'm accumulating, and that'll be my hedge. And that's kind of what I'm thinking about. I also, a lot of guys like Red Dog, what a great call you had with Goldman Sachs. We bought a ton of options here, and I did sell most into there. I do think, if you wanted to roll up your options for Goldman Sachs, I had I think the 397s. You can go higher to stay with it, but yeah, you could say this is a bullish type flag. It's hanging here. Okay, this low is 403. This high is I'll just say, let's do a round number for shits and giggles. That's 417. You could think about whether or not this is going to take. You could buy maybe the 420s if all of a sudden it's going to continue. But just think about how long this channel was before we finally had that, that clean move. What's Sam saying? What's up, Sam? Tracy? Japan intervened last night. Yeah, it's true. What up, Derek Henry? What's it called? Silver and gold has been a little tricky. I'm still in the gold trade. We maxed out one set of spreads, and then I bought the 205s for April, thinking that maybe it goes sideways for a little bit, then takes this out. First thing we had on was like the 195s, and then traded a little bit. It's still fine. It's just a little choppy. This is an old set of comments that I wrote. So I think still think that's good. I saw a pretty interesting tweet from some guys who really big crypto guys. I'm not that big of a crypto guy, but I do trade. Last week I bought IBIT into weakness and BITO into weakness. All of a sudden, they definitely messed with people a little bit once Bitcoin got above that 69,000. Everyone thought it was going right to 80, 85,000, and they pulled it in, and now it's right back here. So I do think that everyone that really wanted this to really ramp might have gotten stopped out. They stopped out some fast money. So now, if all of a sudden you build another bull type flag up here, I still think there's a chance that this could have one of those big blow off moves into the halving. It's been great. We did buy a decent amount. Even look guys, the red dog reversal works in Bitcoin also, right? This low is right here. Remember, from 73, they stopped everybody out when as low as 61.5. Then it went below it to 67, reclaimed it. That was the same kind of red dog reversal we saw. Remember when we did it down here at 39.3. So anyway, now it's got like a bull type flag, and I would think that at some point now, they have probably some shorts, really worried. And if it can get above 71.5 and 73.8, you could have that one last move. So I'm going to stay with IBIT, and I'm going to continue to hold the BITO calls that I have. This is so the BITO calls, I think we have enough time, April 12th, and there's the IBIT. And as you can see, I'm pretty light. I accumulated a little bit, like I said. For next, where's the April? The ones I really want, the big size Nvidia is right here for next week. The 1020s I bought into yesterday's lows. I bought some, here's the 185s. I bought into yesterday's lows. Here's the Amazon 18250s. I bought it into the down move. I'm still long some Amazon. Rumble, by the way, was a great trade yesterday. So I'm in a little protective mode because I had a really good quarter. In all disclosure, the fourth quarter of last year, it was my first time in a while I didn't get a paycheck, even though I'm the chief strategic officer of T3 Live and I get paid on the business. I need quarterly paychecks to really get shots in the arm. So I wound up making that back and having a good quarter. So I would like to finish it on a strong note, which is like what I suggest to you. It's March 27th. Do not try and make your quarter in the next 2 days, and make sure not to do anything stupid, so you get a little less of a check. Anyway, this looks pretty good for Bitcoin, to be honest. If Bitcoin goes, that means Mr. Coin, Mara. If you play those, I'm just going to play, BITO calls and IBIT as shares. You're saying, Peter Sullivan saying AMD looks like an inverse head and shoulders on an hourly. That could be true. I wouldn't mind that. Let's go back to AMD. I guess you're trying to say this could be your left shoulder. This could be your head. Here could be the right shoulder. And then if it takes this out, you can get a move up towards 192. I'd like that. Send that into the market gods. Let's do it. As far as like Mega Cap 7, it hasn't been, the Magnificent 7 hasn't been the Magnificent 7 for months. I've listed the 7 in order in my note, depending on what looks like a good setup for traders and what looks like a no touch. Even yesterday, Tesla, pain in the arse. If you didn't come in long Tesla and you bought it in the first 30 minutes, you end up being down into the close. Why? Look at this topping tail. So, hey, maybe there's a little clue to be long Tesla, but all of a sudden it took off, hit the 184, which we've mapped out as resistance, and then close on the lows. So if you finally felt comfortable, oh, Tesla's different, you wind up going underwater. So that's why I've been still ignoring Tesla, because there's really no rhyme or reason on what it does, throughout the course of the day. I like to have an edge. And lately, Tesla's not giving you an edge. You've been guessing. Anyway, as far as Reddit was a great trade for a lot of you guys. But this might be over now. Let's go back to the hourly in which we put it on. You had your IPO trade, right? The trade that could have paid you handsomely, right? Here is the first day of trading, the art of the first day to measure supply and demand. Hit 57.88, went sideways for about a day and a half, and then took out one pivot, which was 52.26 right there. Started to get paid. And then I remember doing this video with Mike, because I just got back from Aspen. took out the IPO high. So anybody short saying, oh, Reddit's a bullshit community, Reddit's overvalued, you know what? That was your opinion. The bottom line is that day, the longs came in and took it out, and I wound up going as high as 74. So if you took it home yesterday, you made some good money. Now, it's a little bit harder. You did get a little bit of a bearish candle into the close, but so did everything else. What's Reddit doing this morning? Let's take a quick little look here. Or DT, it's up 69 cents. So just be careful. This could have been the active trade, and now it's got to prove that it could hold higher. How do you do that? Well, it shouldn't really get below this spot moving forward, and that's a little bit of downside there. The Trump trade worked, and now you got to figure it out. So feels like this week you had a lot of the meme type things work, which sometimes means there's a little froth. What do I mean? I mean, Reddit made a higher high. Donald Trump's DJT gave you a big move. Okay, and what didn't work? Apple's not working right now. Tesla's not working right now. Meta's been a little bit choppy. Microsoft's been hard from day to day. Nvidia's consolidating. AMD just came in. So it's not the easiest of time. Spies just came in for 4 days. So there's been a little active things to do, but it's not one of those weeks where you're getting a lot of continuity where, it's been easier to string it together. You want me to go Microsoft? I can do Microsoft. Microsoft's still fine. It's just harder. Every time it seemed like Microsoft's about to have some continuity, it's come in. So here's the chart of Microsoft. Microsoft hit a high of 430 and then closed in the lows yesterday, right below the 8 day. So I'm sure there might be some people short Microsoft. I'm not, but it's just not as clean, and if you want to draw a little trend line here, which from here, it looks like if it were to break this, then it's back to the air pocket. So anyway, Microsoft's been harder. Obviously, Apple, they've lost like $500 billion in market cap since the highs. So this is kind of interesting. Some people are saying, hey, Red Dog, if we pull in now on Apple, shouldn't Apple, really get crushed with relative weakness rules? With those rules, it should be. You just don't know if it's going to be like a revision. Right now, these baskets are trading where, the weaker stocks, they're bouncing when the stronger stocks come in. So there's a lot of revision to the mean trade. Bottom line is, Apple put a high in here, and it's been pretty broken since. It looked decent for a second, and then boom, got beat up. Anybody was thinking maybe there's a double bottom here or a double bottom versus bottom. It just can't be a focus right now. As I said before, if you're an investor in Apple, and you've been in Apple for a decade, this does not matter for you. Chances are it could be 3 months, a year. In my opinion, this stock's going to be the new high. Active sequence-wise, if you get paid quarterly like we do here, most alpha traders, or monthly, this has not been where you could be making your money. There's just no rhyme continuity. It's just, leave it alone. ARM's been pretty good, but ARM also, all of a sudden after looking good, look at that wide range bearish candle. So ARM is a tricky stock to trade. It has to be a perfect setup for me to trade ARM. We had a good move here. I remember making some decent money. I haven't really traded it much in here. I've been trading Nvidia a lot more, which it's been easier to tell relative weakness and strength. There are times like even yesterday when AMD had that rally and the market rallied and Nvidia couldn't go green, it showed you how weak it was. And then an hour later, it dropped 20 points. So I like when stocks could kind of tell me and give me signals intraday on how to react, not stocks that trade by appointment. Okay, that's why with this one, you could be trapped real easy. And at this point, I don't know if this is going to all of a sudden lead to, a bigger move, a fake out here for downside. But, we'll see. Just be careful there. It's kind of like everyone's like, Red Dog, why aren't you in Netflix? Netflix has been going really well. I'm like, because Netflix also feels like it's very loose and wide. It trades by appointment. It's hard to see what's happening there, and you feel like you don't have as much control. So even though Netflix, has been trending, which it has, it just has, you've had to be like very small, giving it a lot of room and just letting the market work for you and trusting it. And I'd rather control my trade versus trust the market to control it for me. So with that being said, Palantir has been a pain in the ass. It hasn't been great. Rumble gave a nice move yesterday. I made some really good money in Rumble yesterday. People like, why did Rumble go? Well, it has numbers after the close. So for me, I don't take stock into numbers. So I'll probably, I sold most yesterday into this move. It was a nice move, and I'll see what happens here. I probably should have taken some options. I didn't, and it's just a nice little piece of business. We started in here, and had your first move, and then got lighter, gave you another move, and then it's just continuing to work higher. This is, people are like, what is it exactly? I'm like, well, some people think it's a place for the right to be able to communicate where the media is not going to censor them. Some people think, services like mine, broadcast out there, which is cool. And at this point, you go to the weekly chart, and the weekly chart still looks pretty good long term. 16, 13, 11 looks like it's trying to get going. So I would stick with it, if that's what you want to do. But it's got to get through earnings. And as a trader, you just don't want to guess, because all of a sudden today, if you're up a good amount of money for the month and you go take 10, 20,000 rumble into the number and it's wrong and it's down $1.50, you're gonna give back money. So for me, I would say even with something like this, you're better off taking options just in case, or revisiting it after. SLV has been a kind of a pain, to be honest. It had a decent move. This is the weekly. Let's go back to the daily. I made some decent money on 50% of my calls. You remember I was I started buying silver in here, and then sold some, and then I bought some, and then I sold some, and then I didn't sell it all, and now it's all of a sudden, coming back in. It broke the 8-day and was weaker while gold was stronger, and it's just turning into a trade that's going to suck away the last percentage of my options. I would think it holds here. That's a decent retracement, and then maybe it can go again, but I only trade the metals when the metals look perfect, and the metals did look perfect when gold was when the GLD was supposed to break above 195, and this looked like it was going to, break above the 23 and play catch up. And now it's kind of a choppy mess. There's better things to do. Just have some options on if that's what you want. All right, 653. I got to jump. 2 days left in the quarter. I hope everyone's doing well. At this point, tomorrow maybe I'll give you a little ice barrel video. I did go into my sauna, my ice barrel this morning, so I'm feeling good. I'm going to be with Neil Cavuto today at 12:30 if you want to tune on Fox Business. I'm usually always in with Liz Clayman, and I guess he would like me on his show, and I cleared it. Sometimes with the media, they don't like you to be on other people's shows because they compete for talent, and I guess I'm talent if that's what people want to say. And I go with Liz like twice a month, but she's like, no, we're a team here at Fox Business. We don't care if you're on one show or another show like some other networks, So if you want to, present to his audience time frame, long-term time frame where you put money in every single month because the bull market wins, the active time frame where you need to be depending on where the moving averages are, where the momentum is, if you get paid monthly or quarterly. So anyway, I've never been on with him, so it should be interesting if you want to tune in. Either way, I appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the luck. I'm gonna have to get my little suit and tie on and and play like a big boy instead of just a trader like us in our trader universe. Anyway, I've been doing it since 2008, so it's not a big deal. I'm not here with the teleprompter. I don't have a production team. It's Red Dog and his friends. That's what I consider you guys, friends in community, and it's the strength in community is what life's all about. Hanging out, helping each other, figuring it out, laughing a little bit. We all laughed a little bit with some of the videos I posted from Aspen, the Twin Towers. Anyway, have some fun, make some money. And just keep building and keep evolving, and that's how you can get someplace on a little steadier ground. Be well.